Hello guys, and even with all my optimism, love and trust in Ukrainian people, at the very start of full-scale war, I could not predict that we can literally set a big part of Russia on fire in just one day. But this is what happens, and this is what actually happened today. Because Ukrainian armed forces managed to destroy a number of oil refineries, a military port, an airfield, some aircraft, a helicopter, and many more legitimate targets on the territory of Russian Federation. And once again, this proves that Russia is all about fakes. Pretending to be the second strongest army in the world, it cannot protect its own territory actually. So let me tell you more about these beautiful explosions in military objects in Russia, and this will not be just a geography lesson. This will be a big excursion during which you will learn more about those Russian cities that are now demilitarized. My name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. Russia is on fire, Russia is hell on earth, and all of this is true, both metaphorically and literally. Because today, even in one Russian military port, Novorossiysk, more than 30 explosions were heard. So many people were smoking on these boats. Anyway, after a successful special military operation of Ukrainian drones, a number of important military targets inside Russian Federation were destroyed. And let's start with the very first ones. And these were oil refineries in Tuapse, which is in Krasnodar region bordering with Ukraine. Another city in Krasnodar region that was targeted today is port of Novorossiysk. We know the city because all the Black Sea fleet of Russia actually escaped there. And this is where it belongs, because before the annexation of Crimea, the majority of Russian naval ships actually remained in Novorossiysk. And now, after the successful cleaning of the Black Sea aquatorium, the majority of them are actually hiding in Novorossiysk, where they should remain. Or upgraded to submarines, I don't mind. But anyway, according to Russian media, there were more than 35 explosions and huge fire in the military port. Because once again, a kind reminder to those very sensitive people, Ukrainians only target legitimate evil objects that can be used to destroy our life, our territory, and this is definitely just. Actually, I think it's even too good, taking into account how many war crimes Russia commits here daily. And the majority of this Krasnodar region without electricity. I know you can remind me that I'm also without electricity from time to time, but this is how justice actually looks. And I was fascinated to watch one interview recently from a person who is actually known in Moscow. She is Russian. She is a granddaughter of one very famous Soviet pilot. And she said it's vital that one day, and I can add one beautiful day, people in Moscow will experience what an air raid alert is. They will hear the sound of it. Maybe they will hear this roaring of aircraft in the skies, and only then they will be able to understand what is it. Or to have a right to, I don't know, discuss any potential negotiations only after Russians taste their own medicine. Subscribe if you agree with me, share and like if you agree with me. This is the easiest but extremely effective way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and help spread more real information. There were also explosions on the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea, in particular in Sevastopol. which is the center of the so-called Russian Black Sea Navy, which once again, a beautiful reminder, escaped to Novorossiysk. That was also on fire tonight. But anyway, there are lots of military airfields, unfortunately, there that Russians used to back up the front lines, and we systematically neutralize more and more aircraft that spend minutes, hours on the territory of Crimea. And for example, today, -2 Russian bombers and -1 helicopter. Well, I don't know what about the crew. I never care much about that. And once again, you cannot imagine how many beautiful people will lose daily because the best go to the front lines to protect the motherland. And the worst join Russian army to invade a beautiful and independent country that they cannot equate to, I don't know, intellectually, economically, educationally, and so on. So that is why it's so important to end this war with Ukrainian and our joint allies' victory. The sooner the better, because for Russians, they don't care about the midwaves they say send to Ukraine and destroy, but for Ukraine, it is definitely saving the best of the best. And it was also loud in Belgorod. A number of oil fueling stations and depots were on fire. And I think you will agree with me that we can officially proclaim Belgorod, Rostov, Krasnodar regions a war zone in Russia. So Russia, when it wanted to invade Ukraine, it planned this blitzkrieg, everything failed. We have to sum up and to highlight to those people who still believe Russia is super strong. No, Russia is losing because actually many of its regions bordering Ukraine have turned into a war zone. There are lots of people who don't have electricity. There are lots of people who flee the territory and travel to other Russian regions. There are lots of people who realize what war is, who have heard the sounds not just of air raid alert, but explosions on their oil refineries and military factories. So we can definitely say that Putin's plan failed and he actually brought war back to Russia, and hopefully it will reach Kremlin, because this is where the heart of evil empire lies. But it has this tachycardia or palpitation or something like that. Believe me, I'm Ukrainian, I feel it. Anyway, this day demonstrates first the strength and creativity of Ukrainian army, second, vulnerability of Russia, third, that you don't have to be afraid of Russian threats. I clearly remember the start of invasion, how they told everyone, if anything ever explodes on the territory of Russia, you are all dead. Well, they already have fuel shortages because we've destroyed like a huge part of their oil refineries, and what? And nothing, because Russia is all fake. Don't you let this image mislead you, because this is one of the greatest myths that are debunked by Ukrainian armed forces. And remember to share, subscribe, and watch together with me, together with our beautiful community, the defeat of the Russian Federation. Join me on Instagram. I'm really active there and share more of everyday life. I share my thoughts, and especially when I'm angry, my emotions on X and Threads. We have a very good community of friends on Discord, so join us there. All the links are in the description of this video. We have a beautiful merch shop with lots of items that work well as reminders, conversation starters about Ukraine, but they are just fashionable, beautiful, clever designs too. And thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film and write more. And I love it, and I'm super grateful that in this really difficult, dark times, you bring light into my life and life of so many Ukrainians. Slava Ukraini!